Yep. Good evening, everyone. So, last session we learned about how we can communicate with APIs. So, we discussed about how the API concept works. So, what is API and how we can handle communication with API data, which is coming in format of what? JSON. JSON format data. So, JSON data, we learned about how to consume the data coming in JSON form by using two techniques. One is, what is it? JavaScript Ajax. Another one, JavaScript fetch. JavaScript Ajax and JavaScript fetch. This is the option we learned. By using these techniques, what we can do is we can handle the communication with APIs. Yep. So the communication with API difference is between JavaScript, Ajax, and fetch. Can you tell the difference? What is the basic difference? What is difference between JavaScript Ajax and JavaScript fetch? Both we used for communicating with the data, accessing data from a JSON. What is difference? What is difference? What is difference between these two? Huh? The difference between these two is JavaScript Ajax is by default synchronous. Is by default synchronous, and we need to explicitly make it as asynchronous. Fetch is a promise. Fetch is a promise, and JavaScript promises are by default. JavaScript promises are by default synchronous. They are by default synchronous. Synchronous. They are by default asynchronous. So Ajax, JavaScript Ajax is synchronous. Explicitly, it can be async. And fetch is by default asynchronous because it is a promise, right? So this is one simple example we learned. And how to create JavaScript Ajax request? By creating an object from XML HTTP request. From XML HTTP request object you can create. For this, what we have a fetch method. Fetch have then, and fetch have catch, and fetch have finally. Every promise contains these things. So JavaScript AJAX is used, and JavaScript fetch is used. Yesterday's example was that. Now, what is problem in fetch? The problem in fetch is fetch returns data in binary form. That binary data need to be converted into JSON. That means, what are the issues with fetch? So issues with fetch method is, so it returns response in binary form in response in binary format. So you have to parse into JSON. That means you need to convert into JSON. You have to parse into JSON. Parsing is converting into JSON. Actually, so parsing binary to JSON and again JSON to binary, this is called COM marshalling. COM marshalling is the process of, so binary to object, binary to object, and vice versa. Binary to object and object to binary. That means if any data is in a binary form, it should be converted into object. Again, when reading, that object converts into binary and stores in the memory. In the memory, data is always in which format? Binary. From binary, we have to convert into object and read. Again, the data must be converted from object to binary and store. Always storing will be binary. What is problem? This is called COM marshalling. In computer technologies, the process of converting an object to binary, binary to object is called COM marshalling. And what is problem in COM marshalling is, the problem in COM marshalling is nothing but, so browsers may block COM level marshalling. Browsers may block COM level marshalling. They may block COM level marshalling. Browsers can block COM level marshalling. That means what browser can do is, if any data is converted from binary to object, it thinks it is suspicious data and it can block the data. Because any data from binary to object is not safe. So any data is transported from binary to object to binary, it is treated like a threat for application. Due to that, what happens? Some browsers may block COM level marshalling. Then what happens? Your data may not come in every browser. That means in some browsers, data is blocked. You cannot view it. That issue will be there while working with fetch, right? Another important is, so it is not good in error handling. It is not good in error handling because catch method is there. So you learned JavaScript now. In JavaScript, exception handling. JavaScript don't have any exception library. JavaScript is not having any exception library. What is problem if there is no exception library? If any exception occurred, cannot report the exception correctly. What is exception? Exception is runtime issue. Exception is nothing but it is runtime issue. If any runtime issue comes, it cannot catch that issue and report that issue easily too. That is not good in error handling. So if there is any problem in reading your data, you will not report correctly what is the problem. Yesterday you saw. Yesterday when we were fetching the data and our path was wrong, then what it said? It haven't said that path is wrong. It said that it is not in correct format. but it is in correct format only. But it said that yesterday error you saw, yesterday error it said that the content is not in correct format. I can't understand angle bracket. Why you are reading angle bracket? My data is in JSON form. That means it is unable to find the correct issue and report the correct issue. That is not good in development. In development, we need to track the errors and report the errors correctly. We need that. And this catch cannot do that. You know, JavaScript try, catch, throw, finally. The catch cannot catch an exception correctly. Suppose divide by zero exception comes, JavaScript cannot report it. So JavaScript, do you know, if anything you divide by zero in JavaScript, what it will return? It will return infinity. It will not return divide by zero error. Generally, other programming languages, what they do, they report divide by zero exception. But JavaScript cannot do that. These are all the issues, right? So it will return data in binary form. Binary need to be converted into JSON, and conversions may be blocked by firewalls. It is not safe. Your data may not reach every device easily. So, and it is not good in error handling. These are all some basic issues with fetch. That is the reason developers always not interested in using this fetch. They look for alternative. And another alternative we have is, today we will see how we can use jQuery AJAX. jQuery AJAX methods. By using jQuery AJAX, we can handle the data. By using jQuery AJAX, you can handle the data. So JavaScript have two techniques. I showed you both, right? One is XML HTTP request. Have you tried it? Creating an XML HTTP request object, HTTP open, HTTP send, HTTP on ready state, HTTP ready state. Ready state is equal to 4. That is all AJAX. Alternative I showed you, fetch. Now what is advantage of jQuery AJAX? What is the main intention of jQuery? jQuery main intention is jQuery is to write less and do more. That is the main slogan of jQuery. Actually, the main purpose of jQuery library is write less and do more. Actually, we are not using jQuery library here for handling our manipulations. We are using only for AJAX. So generally jQuery AJAX provides following features. It provides following features. One important feature is, so it returns data in JSON format. It returns data in JSON format. So no conversion required. No conversion required. So that means no COM level marshalling required. So it is not blocked by browsers. Browsers cannot block. It is not blocked by browsers, right? And here, but it is not blocked by browsers. So, and another advantage is it provides good life cycle methods that can track that can track that can track errors easily. Actually, if you know jQuery AJAX have life cycle methods. Life cycle methods means like AJAX have life cycle methods like AJAX start, like Ajax stop, like Ajax success, like Ajax complete. We have like Ajax error. So we have a lot of life cycle methods. These are all there in jQuery actually. If you are aware of jQuery, you know this. What is advantage of these life cycle methods is it can track where exactly the problem is. Is the problem in starting the request? Is the problem in fetching the data? Is the problem in executing the request? Where the problem exists, it can easily handle. It is little good when compared to the fetch in handling errors. And here data is not written in a binary form. Directly data comes in JSON and you don't need any conversions. How the data is present, it returns in the same way. It is good in errors, handling the errors and reporting the errors. It is good. That is jQuery Ajax. Actually, jQuery Ajax syntactically it uses $.ajax and Ajax have some methods. Ajax have option like method. Method can be get or can be post or can be put or it can be delete like methods. Ajax have URL, that means the source resource location, and you can have like data. This is data to post and data to post, that is, and we have success. So it uses a callback function. So response on success, and it have like failure, that is actually error. Error is also a callback function. This is a response on failure. What response on failure, what response on success, it can handle that. These are all the attributes it have. This is jQuery Ajax. So jQuery Ajax is used for handling the request from APIs, managing the request from API, handling the request from API. That's what Ajax can do. Now, here, what are the issues in this? That means why React people will not even prefer this also every time. Because sometimes they may use, I already told you, depends on requirement. There is nothing like which one we have to use. Which one you have to use, you decide according to your situation. Because if you are downloading additional libraries, you are using additional libraries, it is always heavy on application. If you are using inbuilt features, that reduces burden on application. Obviously, if you are using an external library, then you will have some burden on application, right? That depends whether you are using internally enabled features or you are downloading an extra library and using it. And what are the issues in this Ajax? So actually some issues are there. Issues with Ajax, jQuery Ajax is issues with jQuery Ajax. The issues with jQuery Ajax is, so we have issues like CORS, cross origin resource sharing. We have like CORS issues, cross origin resource sharing issues will be there. So it have a CORS issue, cross origin resource sharing. That means um, it may block data accessed across the origin. Across the origin means from remote servers. from remote servers. That means it may block data accessed across the origin. Sometimes what happens is our application is running in one server, another backend application is running in another server. Same server but different port numbers. That means two applications are running on same server but they are in different port numbers. Then sharing data between them may be blocked. Why? Because application thinks that it is a threat of sharing data across applications in same server. Same server, different. I told you na, distributed computing means two applications running on two machines can share, but two application running on same machine is dangerous. That is dangerous. Why it thinks as dangerous? Because it is thinking that your application is leaking data to some other application in the same server, right? Distributed computing is that. What is distributed computing? Distributed computing is two applications on same machine can share information, or two applications in two different machines can share information. Cross origin issue will come mostly when two applications on same machine are sharing information. That is cross origin, right? This may block the data. So that ASAX, cannot control. ASAX cannot control the course. Course related issues will come, right? And another important, so it is not good in handling multiple requests synchronously. So using async technique, it is not good in handling multiple requests in async technique, because it is not using promise, it is using all callbacks. That means actually it uses callbacks. So callbacks which are which are synchronous. So which are synchronous. Callbacks are synchronous. So better than callbacks is promises. Promises are asynchronous. Callbacks are synchronous. That means again they are not asynchronous. They will block other requests when your request is working. So that is one major problem that you can face with jQuery ASAX. Handling multiple requests, so accessing data across origins, and using, you see, there is success error. Success error, they are callback functions. In a function, that success and error are callback functions. Callback functions are always issues. They are callback functions are always synchronous. These days, what we are doing, we are changing the callbacks to promise. Promise will use then and catch finally. That is what promises will use. Callbacks are used like this, right? So these are some important issues that we face with jQuery ASAX. That is the reason we don't even use this regularly every time. Sometimes what people do is, because currently 90% of entire web is jQuery only. That means 90% of entire web is jQuery. Remember, we are using these from several decades. That means as per general statistics, every day some million new websites are coming. As per latest some statistics, every day some million websites are coming. React and Angular like technologies came from 2014 onwards. 2014 onwards, they became popular and people are using. Before that, from 1990 is the evolution of web. So from 1990 up to 2014, imagine how many applications are there on web. That means, so 80-90% of web is occupied with old versions. All new versions are recently used, recently built. That means if anybody asks, like, name some React applications. You cannot tell hundreds in number. You can count on fingers. Major applications. Major means major real world applications. If anybody asks, tell me some React applications, you can count on fingers. Major, right? You cannot simply say that millions of websites are there on React. Millions of websites are there on jQuery. They all use jQuery only, majority, right? That means if anyone asks, name some Angular, name some React, major people using Angular React. So that's just a number that you can even remember and tell them that these are React, these are Angular, right? But generally personalized applications means people developing application for various clients, small, medium, small scale clients. They may be using React. They are using React or using Angular, but it is now growing in popularity. Already entire web is occupied by jQuery, majority jQuery, right? In that case, what happens is already they have jQuery implemented and they want now React to handle some more effective user interface, building single page environment. Then they already have jQuery and they want to use that jQuery library in React because suppose they want to use some components built by jQuery, carousels like accordions, like nav bars, they want to design. If they are provided by React libraries, they will use it. If not available, then they have to use jQuery. Combination they have to implement. So how to install jQuery and use in our React project? Let's see. First step, what we have to do, install jQuery library or React project. That you can do by using npm install jQuery. That is the thing you have to do. After that, you have to import jQuery library into component. I hope you people know that if you know jQuery, you know that entire jQuery library is present in dollar. The complete jQuery library is accessed with reference of dollar. Dollar is the reference. Actually, it is an anonymous function. This anonymous function contains all the jQuery library. That means to access everything from jQuery, you have to import this dollar. You have to import this dollar. When you import this dollar, all jQuery library is available because complete jQuery library is under that reference, dollar reference. So what you have to do, you have to import dollar from which library? jQuery. That's what you have to do. Every jQuery function is accessible through this dollar, right? All jQuery functions are accessed with the dollar. And what you can do, you can access jQuery methods using dollar. That means what you can do, you can use dollar dot ajax. You can use dollar dot each. So you can use dollar dot get JSON. Like this, we can have so many methods. So all jQuery related methods you can access with the reference of dollar. So first you have to install jQuery for your project. After installing jQuery for the project, so now what we have to do is we have to import jQuery in the components and through that you can access. Let's see how it happens. How to use jQuery for fetching the data from a JSON, right? Let's see. So I will go here. Same example, we will not change. Same example, we will change only this one. This part we have to do. Previously, I used HTML JavaScript combination as X. JavaScript Ajax I used. After that, I used fetch. Right now, I will remove this. Okay. Now you can see now you can see there is no data empty. So let's do that. Now we will first add a new, and here we will set up here npm install jQuery and save. We are downloading and installing the jQuery library for our React project. Okay, now we need to import that in this component. So what we have to do, import dollar from which one? jQuery. We have to import dollar from jQuery, and now on component mount face, that is use effect, we are using dollar dot what? Ajax. Ajax uses a callback. It uses Ajax options. In Ajax options, we have method. Method is get, and what is the URL? URL is products dot what? JSON. After that, we have success. Success uses a callback function which will get the response. And what we need to do, response is a JSON type. That response is the JSON type. Previously, fetch returns response in binary. Then what we have to do that binary response we need to convert to JSON, and that JSON we have to collect in another then, and we have to use. Now it is simply response. Now what that response we will do, set product, into that we will send the response. So response is an object. That response object contains all the data coming from this file, and that is stored in the product state where you have configured. And the data is now available here. So we will access. It has some problem. Uh, what is the problem? Is having some problem in reading the map. So because this response have this response is okay. Let's check, is that product file? It is product.json, not products.json. The file name is product.json. Now it is working fine. We can access the data and we can use the data coming from that particular file. This time I am using what? jQuery Ajax. We are fetching the data and we are displaying the data and handling it. This is the simple process of jQuery Ajax. Same example in three ways you have seen. One is JavaScript Ajax, second one fetch, third one is jQuery. And usually we don't use this also every time. That depends on our requirements. So there are hundreds of free libraries which you can use for fetching. So many are there. Free libraries are there. You can try. React supports all of them. I will copy this one. So this is an example. What is that example is? This is API demo dot what? JSX. I will copy this example. Same example what we tried yesterday. This time we replaced with what? jQuery Ajax. jQuery Ajax is there. Now what React developers do is, so React can use various third party libraries for fetching data from API and handling API interactions. Various third party libraries you can use, like Axios is one library. So, what WG fetch is another library. So, you have different third party libraries. We have Telerik library is there. So, we have like Dev Express library is there. So many are there. So many third party libraries are there. So many third party libraries are there. You can use them, and it's not guaranteed that everybody have to use the same. That means I showed you one library here. Several people will use several different libraries, right? That depends on their requirement. You cannot force any developer that this is only the one you have to use. That depends on their project requirements. So, and can handle if you can handle one library, you can handle others also. Just you need to explore and you need to know about that library detail. So remember, these third parties are something which are not stable also. So they will have certain issues. If your application is facing those issues, then avoid using that library. Use some other library which is suitable for your application. So a developer first should perform all the research on the library, and then he need to decide whether that library is suitable for his project. And it is not like somebody teaches you and you learn, right? So anybody can teach you how to use one library. You must able to adapt any library given to you by exploring its documentations and all, because it's no guarantee in which project which third party library they use. There is no guarantee. That's the reason you learn some libraries, but any another library they gave in other than what you learn, you have to explore it, because obviously that library documentations are given to you. You have to read the documentation and you can handle that. Generally you can get that information about lot of libraries and their help documentations from a website, npmjs.com. npmjs.com, it is actually the official node package manager's website. Npm is node package manager. By using this package manager only, we are downloading and installing so many libraries. That is the official website. You can go to that website and you can search for the third party libraries. You will find hundreds in number will be there. For example, you say here, let's visit that here. What is it? npmjs.com. This is npmjs official. In this npmjs, what you have to do, you just search which package you are looking for. We are looking for React API related package. And it will show you lot of libraries. And when you search, it will give you lot of libraries. You can see so many related options are there. There are so many third party libraries. There are so many third party libraries. And suppose I given here, what is the library we are using? Axios. Axios. And you can see this is the Axios library. And you can see like Axios, there are so many others. There are so many others. You can use them and you can implement them for your application. So nobody can force you that you have to use this. But if already your company, sometimes companies, what they do, they purchase libraries. Like, so like you see, Telerik. Telerik is a very popular third party vendor. That means it provides lot of libraries for web developers, web developers, web developer means it is too costly. Majority MNC like companies purchase these Telerik like libraries because you see this library pricing, you will see per developer it is $1,200, $2,000 per developer. For one developer to provide this library, it will cost that. And see, so these are the customers of Telerik. NASA is customer of Telerik. NASA is customer of Telerik. Visa, Microsoft are customers of Telerik. IBM is customer of Telerik. Microsoft, IBM itself are major players in software development, right? That means they are taking help from Telerik for certain libraries. Why they can't ask their developers to build those libraries, right? Because they are itself software development companies. Why they don't ask? Because why should they ask? Time waste. Because already somebody is expert in doing, and again you involve in that. That is time waste. Suppose you are using mobile, your mobile company is Samsung, but the camera doesn't belong to Samsung. The lens doesn't belong to Samsung. You cannot ask Samsung, why can't you manufacture A to Z everything by yourself? Is it possible? That means board, keyboard, box, switch, right? So, and all the ICs inside it, camera lenses, not possible. They have certain business to do and they will borrow all from third parties. Any software development is same. Sometimes, especially React.js developers, um, React.js developers requirement, if you go in Naukri, they will particularly ask, we want a React developer with Telerik knowledge. They will particularly ask React developer with Telerik because their company is using Telerik library. And for a React developer, learning a library is not a concept. Nobody teaches this. Nobody teaches you how to use a Telerik library. A developer means he must able to explore by himself and learn and use it. On YouTube also, you will not find any videos related to somebody teaching Telerik library. Right? No, they will teach you some free libraries here and there. Right? Then what we do, we take official help from these people. You see demos. In the demos, you see here we are having React JS, Angular, jQuery, all libraries are provided. When I go to React related ready-made, so many are given here. You see hundreds of components are there. These all components you can use if you buy it. If you buy, you can use all this. And these are ready-made. Just you need to customize according to your requirement. Whatever code design is required, everything they will provide. And remember, because you are purchasing, they will have a tech support which will support if there are any issues in your application while using it, right? That is the reason you saw the pricing. They will say 24 hours response time, 72 hours response time, and continuous response. Like that, they will give. You pay more money, any issue comes while using it, immediately their team will resolve. That means immediately their team will come to picture and they will identify what problem you are facing in that particular library and they will resolve it on various priority levels, right? These are third parties. So one third party we will learn, other third parties you can explore by yourself. Let's see a simple third party how to use. What is advantage of using these third parties? Axios, one of the advantage here is, means when compared to the previous and others. So it can handle, so Axios can handle can handle course issues. So it have good error handling library. Error handling library when compared to jQuery as X also, right? And it is using async methods. is using async methods. It can handle multiple requests simultaneously. So simultaneously, all these it can handle. These are all features. Every third party library sells themselves with some certain features. That means every third party library say that these are our features, you can try, right? And every third party library have different features you can try. Now let's see how we can use that. That means how we can implement. Again, any third party library, how you will know about that library? You have to go to their official documentation, read the documentation and implement. Actually, where you will get that information, in this website, we can go to npm.js. Here you search for which one, Axios, and you see it will give you the Axios. This is Axios. When you open, and you can see it says that this all the help documentation is here, and you can see it provides lot of features. It provides lot of features, and see it says that it supports promise API. What does that promise API means? Promise API means asynchronous. Every promise is asynchronous. These are some important features, right? These are important features. And automatic transform for JSON data, which already jQuery is also doing, right? jQuery is also doing. It has some more advantages. So, and what is protecting against XSRF? So, is actually XSRS is cross-site request forgery. Cross-site request forgery, that is XSRF, that is very popularly faced issue by developers. Cross-site request forgery is nothing but, generally a website can make a forgery of your website request and they can post data from their website into your website. That is very dangerous. That means some website is making a forgery of your website request and they are posting data from their website into your website. Generally, data posting should happen from the same website. If a website is allowing to post data from another website, that is request forgery. That is called request forgery. Request forgery means another application is making a forgery of your application request, then it is posting the data. Means actually server side people know all these things. If you are a developer, you know any server side technologies like Java, .NET and all, these are very common. So otherwise they look like some new concepts you are hearing. These are very common general things. Actually what happens is, suppose you see, so we have www.oursite.com. In that what happened, we have products. That means suppose here we are having some product. In that product there is an insert. In that insert we have an ID. So and we have some name. So some name like this, I'm just giving some values. So name is some TV, something like that I am typing. Actually this is our site. In our site, if anybody posting data into insert, this is how it is doing. So what somebody do is, they will copy this URL. They will copy URL. Actually, they have their website. In their website, they have some button. Understood? They have some button. On that button, click what they do. So they use this URL. That means they use our site and slash .com/product. What they do is they will use that insert and they know the URL where to send the data. They will send the data like this. Now what happens is, from their website they can post data into your website. This is very dangerous. That is request forgery. Your website request is somebody making a forgery and keeping that. This happens regularly for get, but this should not happen for post. This happens regularly for get. Get is compulsory, we can't avoid. That means you see on YouTube channels, they say that this is my YouTube channel, and my channel is sponsored by these people. Their links I am giving, I am showing you some products. Those products links are below, you click directly, they will open. That means what you are doing, you are asking them not to open Amazon directly, you are asking them to click a link in your website which will take them to Amazon. That is not good, that is not safe, that is not safe. That means it leads to lot of hacking and all. That is what called request forgeries. Request forgeries, that is not a safe thing. Get request is okay because you are just watching it, but if any data submitting is happening like that, that's dangerous. Get request okay because you are fetching and showing, but posting you cannot handle that. Actually Amazon and all these people, what they do is they encourage this for get, because they get business from various YouTube channels. And what do you know what they do? These Amazon people, if somebody clicks on that link and comes to Amazon and buys that product, they give commission to that channel people. They give commission. That means there will be certain amount saying that this person purchased this product from the promotions given from your channel. That is why they will pay you some amount. Right, that is the business happening currently. That means every YouTube channel people do such kind of business in promoting the products of Amazon, Flipkart and other. They give the links, and why they do that? Because they get money from them. That means Amazon pays them. Not only paying them, Amazon sends them free gadgets, Amazon sends them free for reviews and all. So that is a business happening. This is okay for get, but this is not okay for post. These are all called request forgeries. And we can prevent request forgeries using Axios. Axios is telling all these things. So these are some major features. These are some major features, right? And you can copy these features. Just the features already I given here. You can copy. These are some basic features that they provide in their official resource. Now, what you can do is you can make, so you can access and use this as X. I will show you how do we handle that. Canceling requests also they give as an option. That is very good because jQuery don't have canceling. In jQuery, once a request is sent, it's gone. You cannot cancel that request because it uses callbacks, and callbacks will immediately execute, and the response will come, and there is no concept of canceling. There is no concept of canceling. You click the button, it's gone. They say that they will provide canceling of requests. That's okay. These are all some features. Every third party may not have all these features. It depends, right? Now, how to use it? How to use it? You have to like you, depending on requirement, you need to use them, right? As of now, we know the basic how it works. Then what we will do? First thing, is library for React project. That is the first thing we are doing. You have npm install Axios and save. There is nothing special. So you have to install, and remember you need to keep in touch of these libraries. Every day they change some new features, they add some old features, they remove. That means you are currently writing some note about third party, you can't follow this after 1 month or 2 months because some changes they may do. All third parties, this you have to explore and you need to update yourself, right? Generally technologies which are third party, those technologies always you must keep in touch and explore. And so this is majority of the situation you have to do, right? Because see, frankly speaking, one simple point I will tell you. Suppose somebody says that, sir, I am a real time developer, I am working in company from more than 10 years or 12 years or 6 years or 5 years, and I am coming here to learn React, right? That is not a satisfying word. That is not a satisfying concept. So that is not a satisfying concept. Why? Because see, means general, I will tell you. If you are a software developer, already you know some technology, you are working on the technology, you are a software programmer, then there is no point like you have to join a course and learn technology. You must be capable of exploring the technology by yourself. That is what even company expects from you. You must be capable of exploring a technology by learning by yourself. For example, tomorrow some new version of React comes, right? And we say that we will start teaching this version from tomorrow onwards. Who teaches us? Who teaches a trainer? Who teaches a trainer? That means the React community is coming and training us, right? The point is, trainer, his problem. He have to explore himself everything, have to learn what is new, and he need to deliver. And he can't misguide you, because every moment, every concept, you are browsing, you are checking, he's teaching me correctly or not, correct definition or not, on the spot. You are genius people, na? Right? On the spot, if I told a definition, you will open Google and search for definition. Is he telling the correct point or not? That means nobody can misguide you. Now the point is, who trained them? Nobody trains. That means we have to explore the technology and we need to know the technology. Nobody trains. Any software trainer who is training you a technology, officially he is not from the people who built that technology. And even the people officially who built the technology start training you on the technology, you can't understand them. You can't understand. Why? Because high technical terms that they speak, you may not understand correctly. From very basic level, you need a flow. Then only you can understand. That means any senior software engineer should learn a technology by himself. Generally, why senior people join the courses and learn a technology? The two reasons are there. One reason is, the point is, they don't have time to explore themselves. That is the first reason. They don't have time to explore themselves because already they are busy with all their work and all. Then what they do is, they ask for help from any particular trainer, that okay, we will listen to him so that we can understand what the concept is and later we will explore. That is how it happens. That is how it happens. Currently we are teaching React how many days? 35, 40 days we are teaching React. You know, earlier before COVID, now we are not having. Before COVID, we used to have React weekend batch. 2 days React finish. 2 days only React. In corporate companies, 2 days only React. That means in corporate companies, we get contract for training, right? In companies, software companies, weekend only. That means 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. These 2 days React finish. Saturday 5 hours, Sunday 5 hours, React done. Right? That means actually before COVID, people used to attend these weekend batches. Currently, we are not having them. Weekend batches, they fly from Delhi, Bangalore, and other places, stay in Hyderabad for 2 days. They learn the technology and go back Monday for work. Earlier, people used to reserve for seats in those weekend batches, 1 month back, 1 month before, 2 months before the result, and they attend those batches. Now we are having continuous online, because actually earlier we don't have online batch. Online batch is not there. Online batch team is separate earlier. That means online training people are separate, offline training people are separate. And we don't have online, we don't take online at all. We have only offline batches. That's the reason people fly from various regions and come here and learn and go back, because we don't have online. And online team is separate, and they are not satisfied with those online teams. They come here, reserve the batches for our sessions, and they learn and go. That's how they follow. Right now it is, because from COVID onwards we made everything feasible online, because we peoples who are delivering offline, same we are delivering online also simultaneously. Earlier it was not there. Right, even after few days we may stop this, because that's not great. Online training is not great, frankly speaking. Right, offline interactions, offline trainings are better than online. Anywhere, that is the first priority we give. The first priority, live interaction is the first priority. That is the first priority. Second, online, because you don't have time or you are not feasible to come offline, then you prefer online. So now the point is, all these people, what they do in weekend, how a technology can finish, because they just want the concept. You tell the concept and send them back. What they will do, they explore that concept by themselves, and if they have any doubts, they will ask. That is how a technology is learned perfectly. That means if everything a faculty have to train you, that is not correct. In corporate level training, a faculty will guide you on a topic, and rest of thing you have to explore. Then only you will become a perfect real-time developer. Right, everything if a faculty delivers, then that is not good for even learning also. A faculty should deliver you the concept, and you should able to explore it and do all the required. That is how happens. That is the perfect training methodology for real time developers, right? But these days what generally people expect is every topic we trainer have to deliver. If I miss any particular word, then immediately you'll ask, sir, you are not teaching this topic, right? If I told you a relative topic, you must explore all this. In corporate level trainings, what we do, we say that tomorrow we are going to learn about API communication. First you get prepared about it and come. That means we will not teach the topic. First we will ask you to get prepared about it and come. You get prepared about it and come, we will ask you questions, what you explored by yourself. Is it correct or not? According to correct methodology, how it works. That's what. That is the way of learning a technology. If I say that tomorrow we are going to learn this concept, you must first by yourself explore that concept and come to class. That means then you will understand your capacity. That means you will understand your capability, that this is my capability, this much I am able to understand, and rest he will help you. That is the correct way of learning a software technology. Right, that is the reason you need to explore every library by yourself. I will give you 2-3 options, you need to learn others. You need to see what other options are, how that other options affect. That's what important is. So in Axios I will give you 1-2 techniques, rest of techniques you refer and you try to implement that. Okay, so you install this. Second step, what we have to do after that, we have to import Axios. We just use import Axios from Axios. We have to import from Axios. That is the core basic library you have to import, and define the Axios request. Axios request. How you define the Axios request? There are so many ways. We can use Axios.get. We can use Axios.post. We can use Axios.put. Like this, we can use different methods. Axios.delete. Like this, we can use. So if it is Axios.get, then it uses an URL. After that it uses a then, because it is a promise. Every promise will have a then, and will have a catch, and will have a finally. Every promise will have these three things. Then what should happen? Catch, error, and finally will execute always. This is the basic methodology how it works, right? There are so many ways we can use shortcut techniques, we can use other methods. So you see now how to handle the same. Let's install it. Let's set up and install here npm install what it is, axios, and save. So how to install that library, that is also provided by that npm.js, right? Now installed successfully. Okay, now let's remove this ajax methods. jQuery ajax is removed. Now we don't have any data here. Now this time what we will do, we will import. What to import? We will import axios from axios. Curly brace. Why it is not having a curly brace? Because in module system of JavaScript, if any library as mentioned as default export, currently we are using export. If any library is having default export, that you should not use with curly brace. That is generally in JavaScript module system, export, default export will be there. If any library is default export, then you can just use it. You cannot use a curly brace here. It will not work. You should just define like this, right? That is generally okay. Now what we have to do, we have to use axios. Axios dot which method? Get from where? URL. Get from URL. URL is what? Product dot what? JSON. After that we have to use dot then, because it is a promise. Then uses a callback, and this callback function, what the callback function will do? The callback function will return a response. Actually this response contains lot of details. Generally in jQuery, response contains data, but here it will not contain directly data. Response contains so many details. That means every response returned, that means you can see another point you should know is, so the response returned by axios method comprises of various details, like it contains status text, contains like header, so it contains like data. All such details are present. Generally jQuery response is directly JSON data. If data is JSON, if data is XML, it is HTML. What is response returned by jQuery is according to what the source is. But here it response contains lot of details, like status means actually it will return code like 200, like 404, like 404, like 502, like 302, something like this request will be there. I hope you already know these requests in HTML. 200 requests are related to success. 200 requests, that means 200, 201, 202, all these related to success. 404 related to 400 requests. 400, 401, 402, all these related to client side error. If there is an error client side, all those errors are returned with 400 code. 401, 402, like that. 500 code is server side error. Server timed out, server not responding, server hanged. All such options are done by using server side. and 302 is redirection related. 300 are redirection, navigating from one request to another. 301, 300, 302, all these are. That means 200 are related to two. Actually, we write like this. Generally, these are all basic in web designing. Actually, so we have 200. All these are related to success, and 300, these are related to redirections, and we have 400 requests. These are related to client errors. So 500 requests, these are related to server errors. Like that, we have different server side issues, client side issues, redirections, success, all these are the methods. Status text means it will return the text. That means it says okay. 200 means okay. 400 means like not 404 means not found. The text will come. Header will return the content type. What type of content is coming? That means is it JSON content, XML content and all. Data means it returns the data present in file. What is the data present in that file or URL? That data will come. The file or URL, that data will come. This is actually done by using the response. So response is not just directly response. Response contains lot of details. In that, if you want only the data coming from the response, you can use that. That is response.data. That means you see here now. So what we do, set product. Into the set product, I am using response, and response actually contains, this response contains lot of details. Actually, this response contains so many details, like you have status, we have status text, we have headers, we have like data. That means if I use data, that means it will return only data. If I say response, response is not data. Response contains so many details. In that we want only data. That means the data coming from file is returned by using response.data, right? That is what we have to do. Now you can see the data is coming and working fine. This time we are using from what? Axios. We are using from Axios. Currently we are learning only get method, because we don't have any access to backend so that we can handle put, post, delete like also. I will show you. We will create our own API, and in that API we can handle all the CRUD operations. CRUD operation means reading, inserting, updating, deleting, all. We will do that. Currently, this is the technique of handling and working with APIs, right? This is another example. So API demo. This is another example. We have API demo.jsx. This is the example, right? So now you have learned all the various techniques used for interacting with the data. So let me give you the summary for this. So the summary, what you learned is you learned how to access data from XML HTTP request object. You learned from fetch. You learned from so jQuery AJAX method, and you learned from so how we can use Axios. These are all the techniques. So there are various ways of communicating with an API, interacting with the data. That's I showed you. Now we will try one sample data live coming from some remote places. Let's try one simple example first. Later we will build one application, right? Suppose we will use this one, api.nasa.gov. You can try this. This provides lot of data related to space and all, right? This is official NASA API's website. Observe here. This is api.nasa.gov. This is the API. This is official NASA API's website. They provide lot of APIs for free. You click browse APIs, you will get, these are all the APIs. Suppose we are having different APIs. We will take this Mars rover photos, and you see this is the URL they are giving, and I click on this URL. This is the data they are giving. Now what is the responsibility of React developer? Get the data and present. Get this data from here and present. So let's do that. For that, first you need to understand what is the final data it is returning. This URL is returning an object, and in that object there is an array photos. Photos is what type? Array. Array of what? Objects. It is an array of objects, and every object have a lot of details, like every object have ID, sol, camera. Camera is again object. Now what I want is, out of this I want only few details to display. I want the photo ID and photo, and which camera took that photo, which rover took that photo. That means you can see in the details, they are having camera details, they are having rover details. I want camera full name and I want rover name. Which rover took that photo? I want this. So I want to display only few details in this, not all details. Let's see how to handle that now. How we can handle this data. Let's see how we can manage the data. First, you need to copy this URL, because this is from where the data is coming. Okay. Let's go to our project and create a new component. In SRC components, I will create a new component by name NASA API, and I will add a new file. So NASA API.jsx. Now here we will export. Here we will first import. So what to import? You have to import use effect. You have to import use state from React. Another one, you have to import what? Axios. Axios from Axios. We have to import these two. Now we are creating export function, and the function is NASA API, and it will return. So a simple div. Now class name, some container fluid. Now how you want to present the data, that depends on your requirement. Already I told you that we can present data in a tabular form, or we can present in a drop down, you can present in a card style. Let's see different point here. Suppose I want to present data in a card style. I want to display in a card style. So I will put a main here. Okay. In this main, I will put options like class name deflex, and I will give flex wrap. Okay. I will give for this as style. Style, I give here height as some 500 pixel. That is the value height. Okay. And after that, I will keep overflow auto. That is the main we are having, the main container. Now what we will do? So we will create a constant, and the constant is, what is the final result coming from that API? It is an object. That means I will give Mars object and set Mars object. Set Mars object is equal to use state. I'm just defining use state. I'm not mentioning what data type. If I am not mentioning what data type, then that means it will be, actually it will be any type. By default, data type will be any. Use state will use any data type. And you see it says it is undefined currently. That means because you are not defining with a value, it is undefined. Okay, let's keep it like that. Now what we have to do, mount face. How to write mount face? Use effect, it uses a callback function and the dependencies. Now on use effect, what is the concept here? On use effect, we will use axios dot get from this URL, paste that URL. That is where from data is coming, right? And you use a then function, then then we'll get a callback response. And what we will do, this response data we will store in set mars object. Set mars object, we will use response dot data. The data will be stored inside. Now what is the data coming here? It is an object. Data coming here is an object. In that object, observe their data. In that object, there is a property called photos. This photos is array. That means I cannot do map on this. I can do map on this photos property. That means you need to be very careful in these names because they are case sensitive. You have to use exactly the same case how they provide in the API. That means now what I will do here, see, I'm accessing that data here. So this is the main. In the main, temporarily, just temporarily, I am writing like this. We have mars object dot what photos. These photos have a map.
Recording in progress.
Why it is a problem in reading the photos? It's undefined now. Here the data type is undefined. That means now what I will photos is an array. That photos is an array. Then you will not use here photos. Which one you will map? Directly the mars object we are using map. Directly the mars object we are using map. That means what it should do, get the all IDs. It is getting all the IDs because how the data is coming.
Recording in progress.
I want to present it like a card. So I will use a class. I will use a class here, class name as card, margin 2, padding 2. And this card will have a style. Card will have a width. Width is some 200 pixel. Okay. In every card should have a key because it will repeat. The key will be item.id because the photo ID will be used for that. Now, what are the details for every photo? For every photo, you can see the details. It have ID, it have camera, it have IMG coming from, image source is coming from item dot img underscore srs, and image will have a class name called card image top, and image have an height. So the height for image I will give some 150 pixel. Okay, next we have a div. In the div I will put a class name, we will give as card header. The card header I will give the photo id, that means we will get item dot id. After that I am designing another div. This is class name card body. In the card body I will use a data list with the data term. Here we want to print camera name. How to get the camera name and print here? Item dot camera is an object. In that we have full underscore name that gets the camera full name. That is the data they are having in their API. I will use here another one is rover name. Rover name is again coming from where? Item. Item dot rover is an object. In that they have name, which is rover name. And you can see these all details are presented in a card style now. All the details are presented in card style. And these are all the Mars rover photos present in that URL. All the photos we are having, and it is displaying in a card style. These are all the photos it is having in a card style, in a tabular or a card style, your wish. We are fetching the data from an API and we are presenting. Now what is the task given for React developer? Not just presenting. Now they will ask that now set filters here. Filters like put a drop down. In the drop down user must able to select rover name. When user selects rover name, only that rover photo should come. Put another text box, ask user to select a date. When user select date, only the photos taken between the date should come. Just like you have a bank statement screen. In that it will ask last 10 statements, last 10 transactions, or transaction from this month to this month. Means data is fully provided, but user can filter and display only what he wants. That means we need to design interactions. If you can create interactions, that means now you can easily present the data. That is the role of React developer. In any project, what is your job? This is the job as a React developer. That means data is given to you from an API. You need to present the data with all the interactions what they ask. This is what generally they give in interviews also. You are attending as a React developer interview, they will give you these kind of tasks as practical. They will send you a screenshot. That screenshot, all the manipulations will be there, and they will send you a link where the data is present. Now they will ask you to design all that with the data. That's what you need to be very perfect in handling data coming from API. This is just one basic example you saw. Let's create interactions now. Let's learn how to create interaction, filtering, sorting, searching, how you can achieve in this particular type of data. We will take a shopping website, and in that we will design all the interactions so that we can get more idea, clarity on the concept that we will see in tomorrow's session. Right, in tomorrow's session, we will discuss a complete API example with a ERP API. ERP API is shopping related API we will take. I will show you that you try other APIs, right? You don't need to ask like teach this API, that API, right? I already just now told you. I will give you one example. Based on that, you try all other APIs, whatever you want. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue then, right?